Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most chilling and fascinating corners of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Prepare yourselves, because we're entering a city that defies logic and revels in despair. Commorragh, the dark city home of the Drukhari, also known as the Dark Eldar. This isn't just a city, it's a wound in reality itself, a place older than memory, where light fears to tread. Imagine a city hidden within the labyrinthine folds of the Webway, festering with life, sentient, and utterly cruel. That's Commorragh. The name itself is whispered like a curse. But who are the Drukhari? And how did they come to be so exquisite in their depravity? Believe it or not, these beings were once kin to the radiant Aeldari. They ruled the galaxy with beauty, their worlds shining like scattered jewels. They were immortal, graceful, gifted beyond imagination. But immortality, my friends, often breeds arrogance, and perfection can demand indulgence. What started as art became obsession. What began as joy became a chilling addiction. The Aeldari Empire turned inward, feasting on excess, and as their pleasure cults rose, something terrible, ancient, and hungry began to stir. The moment of their doom wasn't a war or an external enemy. It was a scream, a psychic detonation that tore a wound in reality itself. From the depths of the Imperium, the newborn god of their collective sin rose. Slaanesh, and with its birth came annihilation. The fall of the Aeldari was total. Worlds burned without fire, souls vanished in silence, and an empire of light was gone. But not all perished. The most decadent, the most depraved among them had already retreated into the hidden corridors of the Webway. Shielded from the cataclysm, they survived, but survival carried a dreadful curse. Slaanesh, the Dark Prince, born from their every excess, hungered still. Their souls began to fade, slowly devoured by the very god they had created. To live, they found only one horrific answer. They must feed. They must consume the anguish of others to restore themselves. Pain became their sustenance. Suffering became their art. And so, Commorragh grew, not as a city, but as a bleeding wound. It's a place of impossible towers, spires that twist like blades, bridges of bone and glass, and streets that echo with screams instead of laughter. Beneath its shining, treacherous surface lie endless levels of filth, where slaves are bred, flayed, and forgotten. The Drukhari call it home, but even they walk its streets as predators trapped in a cage of their own design. In this eternal night, none rule without cruelty. Enter Asdrubael Vect, the supreme overlord of Commorragh. This guy's legendary. He rose from the shadows of the gutters to become its undisputed master. No one truly knows how old he is, or how many times he's died, if such a thing is even possible for him. Vect began as a nobody, a slave among slavers, a shadow among monsters. Yet in the heart of Commorragh, power belongs to those who dare the most, who are the most cunning and utterly ruthless. Through betrayal, slaughter, and pure, unadulterated cunning, he built his throne. He unleashed plagues upon his rivals, tore open their hidden vaults, and weaponized secrets. When he finally ascended, his enemies weren't just dead. They were erased, their names scrubbed from memory, their very essence consumed. To serve Vect is to exist at his whim. To oppose him is to vanish into one of his endless oubliettes, never to be spoken of again. Truly terrifying. Under his rule, the cabals, the noble houses of the Dark Eldar, play their eternal game of treachery. Each seeks dominance, each fears, and through their endless, bloody conflict, Commorragh thrives. When the Dark Eldar descend upon the galaxy, it's not for conquest, it's for sustenance. Their sleek black ships tear open reality, slipping through the skin of the warp to fall upon unprotected worlds. Cities are emptied in a single night. Whole populations vanish. No wreckage, no trace. Only silence. Within hours, their victims are transported into the arenas, laboratories, and torture holes of Commorragh, where their pain is harvested like a grotesque crop. In the arenas one name echoes above all others, Lelith Hesperax, the Queen of Blades. She is beauty sculpted into murder, perfection made manifest in motion. In her hands, death becomes a performance. She dances across the blood-soaked sands of the white arenas, each movement a flawless execution. The crowds scream her name as bodies fall in pieces around her, their agony feeding her strength. No wound can slow her. No opponent can touch her. She is adored and feared in equal measure, for in Commorragh, fame is merely the most exquisite form of danger. But even her art pales beside the horrors that dwell deeper still in the homunculi covens, where flesh itself is the medium of creation. Here works Urien Rakarth, a being so ancient that even the legends of the fall speak of him as old. Once, perhaps, he was mortal. Now, he is something else entirely. His body has been unmade and remade 1,000 times, a twisted cathedral of flesh, sinew, and machinery. He creates pain as a composer writes symphonies. In his laboratories, death is not an ending, but a beginning. His victims scream eternally, reshaped into monstrosities that live only to suffer. And yet, even these horrors have a purpose. The homunculi are the true masters of immortality. For the right price, a memory, a soul, a century of servitude, they can restore any Drukhari from death. No one truly dies in Commorragh, not while the homunculi still practice their craft. In this way, the Dark Eldar have conquered mortality itself, though at the cost of their own salvation. They can live forever, but never in peace. It is said that even the greatest of their kind wake in terror, haunted by dreams of the void that awaits should their torment end. The whispers of Slaanesh never fade. They know that when their souls finally slip from their flesh, there will be no afterlife, only consumption, an eternity of being devoured by the god of excess they birthed. And so they cling to existence, prolonging their cruelty, feeding endlessly on the pain of others, to delay their inevitable doom. Commorragh continues to sprawl, a cancerous web of cruelty without horizon. Whole subrealms bloom and rot within its depths, fortresses of ambition, temples to agony, and gardens where screams are cultivated like music. Every archon plots the downfall of another. Every wight dreams of ascending beyond their mistress. Every slave prays for death that will never come. It is a city without mercy, a civilization sustained by despair. And yet, for all their depravity, the Drukhari remain magnificent. Their fleets are poetry in motion, their warriors perfection honed by millennia of slaughter, their minds sharper than any blade. They are what remains of the Aeldari's brilliance, stripped of morality, distilled into cruelty. But brilliance, nonetheless. In their twisted reflection lies a warning to every race that dares call itself civilized. For once, they were as others are, proud, beautiful, certain of their destiny. It took only a whisper of indulgence, a century of pleasure, to damn them all. So remember them not as monsters, but as mirrors. For the Drukhari are not creatures born of darkness. They are the light that refused to fade, the joy that became addiction, the art that turned to agony. In them, we see the truth of immortality. That to live forever is to run out of meaning, to turn inward, and to feast upon one's own soul. And somewhere, deep within the black heart of Commorragh, where the screams never cease and the shadows pulsed with life, Asdrubael Vect sits upon his throne of ghosts. He watches, patient as eternity, knowing that the galaxy beyond may burn, empires may rise and fall, but his city, his wound in reality, will endure. For pain is eternal, and the Drukhari will never let it end. What do you think of the Dark City? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, please hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating lore. Your support helps this channel grow, and I truly appreciate every one of you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.